Have you recently started making espresso at home? Are you looking for a cheap, reliable espresso grinder? You might have heard of the Baratza Encore and you're probably wondering, is it worth spending my money on it? Well, if so, tune in to this video where I will be talking about the Baratza Encore and is it worth spending your hard-earned money on it? Hello friends, Goran from the TMBean channel here. If this is your first time here and you'd like to learn how to make better coffee at home, start now by subscribing to our channel and pressing the bell button so you get notified every time we post some caffeinated content. In today's video, we will be talking about the Baratza Encore and we will see how good it is or how bad it is as an espresso dedicated grinder. You see, many people have started making espresso at home, and when they're starting with the espresso setup, they're looking for a cheap, reliable, entry-level espresso grinder. If you followed our content since the beginning of our channel, you probably already know that this grinder can grind fine enough for espresso, but that doesn't make it a good espresso grinder. A good espresso grinder not only grinds fine enough for espresso, but also gives you the ability to fine-tune your espresso for a perfect extraction and perfect taste. So that means you need to have a lot of grinding range so you can fine-tune your coffee to exactly where you want it to be. In order to see how good the Encore is as an espresso grinder, I'm gonna put it to a little test. What I'll do today is take 19 grams of coffee and make an espresso using a 1:2 ratio. I'll start by grinding the coffee on the setting number 5, which is within the grinder's espresso range. Then I'm gonna make an espresso and time the extraction. Once the espresso is finished brewing, I'm gonna record the extraction time and grind again. This time I'm gonna go one notch finer. I'm gonna repeat the whole process, make an espresso again, record the extraction time for the second time, and then I'm gonna grind once again, but this time one notch coarser. I'll take 19 grams of coffee and grind it on number 5, which is within the Encore's espresso range. Then I'm gonna make an espresso using a 1:2 ratio and I'm gonna record the extraction time. After that, I'm gonna repeat the whole process, but this time I'm gonna grind one step coarser and one step finer. I'm gonna record all of those 3 extraction times and see if there is a huge difference between them. If there is, then the Encore is unable to give me the capability of fine-tuning my espresso to where I want it to be. If there isn't a huge difference between those 3 extraction times, it means the Encore is a great espresso grinder and we can celebrate and drink lots and lots of coffee. So let's get grinding. Okay, so here we go. Grinder setting number 5. I'm gonna do the usual thing. Those 19 grams in and see how we go. Now you can't see it, but the Encore produces some very clumpy grounds. So obviously I need to stir it up a bit to make the grinds nice and even. So here we go, 19 grams, setting number 5. Let's see how the extraction time goes. So we have 16 seconds. Now obviously this is not ideal, so what I'm gonna do is grind one step finer and see how big of a difference that makes. The key question here is how big of a difference this one step adjustment is going to make to the extraction time. So here we go, take 2 with 1 notch finer. Here we have it, 22 seconds for the second extraction time. In this final attempt, it would be pointless for me to go coarser than before, since the original extraction time was 16 seconds. So what I'm gonna do is go even finer for this last time, which brings me to setting number 3. 2 settings finer than the first attempt. This way we will see what difference it's gonna have on the extraction time, and hopefully we are also gonna get a tasty shot between 28 and 30 seconds. Wow, 35 seconds. That is just incredible. I think that's enough testing for today, and as a matter of fact, I'm not even sure if I should just try this coffee or not. If you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you press the like button, and while you're there, subscribe to the channel as well. So here we are, done with the test. I have the 3 extraction times here. I know I said I'm gonna grind in number 5, then go 1 notch finer to number 4, and 1 notch coarser after that to number 6. But since the original first attempt was already a very fast extraction time, what I did is I had to grind first 1 notch finer and then even finer after that. So I went 5, 4 and then 3. The coffee that I ground at number 5 had an extraction time of 16 seconds. Then I went 1 notch finer to number 4 and we had an extraction time of 22 seconds. Then 1 notch finer to number 3 and we had an extraction time of 35 seconds. So we see between 5 and 4 we had a 6-second difference, and between 4 and 3 we had a 13-second difference. So as you can see, the variation between the 3 different grind settings is huge. Now obviously the Encore can grind fine enough to make espresso, but what good is it when you can't fine-tune the espresso to your taste? Now you can understand why I had to upgrade my espresso grinder from the Baratza Encore to the Baratza 270. There is a solution for this problem of not being able to fine-tune your espresso, and that is you would probably need to tweak your dose while tweaking your grind setting as well. All of that becomes a bit complicated, wasteful, and just an unpleasant experience when it comes to making espresso at home. So you're probably better off just looking for a better grinder instead. So to summarize, the answer to my original question, whether the Baratza Encore is a good espresso grinder, is not a simple yes or no. If you don't juggle between different coffees and you actually have a favorite coffee that you drink all the time, then this grinder might be for you. You could adjust the grind setting and the dose to have a perfect tasting espresso and lock it in so that way you never have to change anything. But if you are like me and you constantly change between different beans from different origins and different processing methods, then you might need to spend a bit extra and get a more expensive and better espresso grinder. I'm also curious to know what your experience is with this grinder. Let me know if you have one, or if you don't, let me know which grinder you're using on your espresso bar. So that's all for today, friends. If you found this video helpful and you'd like to buy us a coffee, click on the PayPal link below and fire away. Also, check us out on social media at TMBean channel on Instagram and Facebook. With that being said, I thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!